Now, welcome to a review of the fourth episode of The Penguin on HBO Max, where we're gonna again kick it off with your thoughts on this episode.
I did not expect this to be a Sophia episode.
Completely backstory Sophia.
Yes,
Out of the blue in a way. Like, it kind of.
Where they left off last week with Oz, like,
just drop
and run. Yeah, he's like, I'm out of here. And we got such a Victor story, but we still kept progressing the Oz story, the Penguins story.
Yeah.
Yeah, after last week, leaving it on this cliffhanger with, like, Oz cutting and running. Who knows what's happening with Sophia. Then to get this episode entirely showing us, when she said she's not the hangman, she meant it.
She's not the hangman. No.
And there were definitely some people in the comments who noticed that too, and that was something that you and I talked about off camera.
Yeah, I don't think... Because the funny thing is, like, we do the reviews, like, they're 10 to 12 minutes usually, but, like, we talk.
We talk about it so much.
Oh, my goodness, about this show, yeah. Like,
gush about this show.
Yeah, sometimes I'll edit because we'll go off on something like we're doing right now for like 5 minutes. I'm like, that it might be interesting, but it's kind of a bit much. I don't want this to be longer than the show itself. Anyway, yeah, we were talking about that I'm not the hangman, and she meant it.
She did mean it, and some people pointed out in the comments, and it was something like I said, you and I talked about off camera, how Carmine choking Selena Kyle, our Catwoman from the Batman.
He's got a thing.
He's got a thing. He's got a penchant. So there was a breadcrumb from the movie letting you know that Carmen's done this before.
Yeah.
The Russian girl.
Yep.
Yeah.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah.
He likes to choke women, apparently.
He kills women.
Including his own wife at some point, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder...
And then almost letting his daughter see it on... I think that was on purpose.
No, it was on purpose, yeah.
Yeah, to kind of... put that in her mind, to
I'm not sure what the intent was,
but yeah. It makes him seem innocent.
Yeah, exactly. Like, now we've had someone else discover...
found her.
Yeah, like, you wouldn't do that to your own daughter if you had murdered her, right? Not that he isn't paying off everybody. Like, everybody. Because that's what you know is going on this whole time. Like, he is paying off the judge, he is paying off the doctor...
all the doctors.
Yeah, Ventress, or what was the name?
Venter?
Yeah.
Venter.
I think it was Ventress. I'm going with Ventress.
Going Star Wars, it's Ventress.
As soon as I heard the name like Venter, I was like, oh, Ventress is here. She really is.
Yeah, he paid off all the doctors. He used the cops, the dirty cops, which is funny because that's the same cop she used later.
Yep.
I was like, boy, she had no qualms using the cop that arrested her on her daddy's word.
Yep. Let's say money is
pinned with this horrible crime that she did not commit.
Never stood trial, just got committed.
She gets out and the world is against her.
Well, I mean, wouldn't it be? The average person doesn't understand what's going on behind the scenes. They just hear the news story, and the news story says she killed 7 women. So there you go.
And then she has to run into Oz, who is one of the people on her list of betrayers.
Yeah, he told her father.
Told Carmine she met with the journalist, with the news reporter. But I don't think he actually meant for that to happen to her.
I don't know. I mean, he certainly didn't know what was ultimately going to come of it. I mean, he's Penguin. He's half looking out for himself. He's half trying to do, I think, what's right sometimes. Just
sometimes.
I think
his
he does
version of what's right. Yeah.
I think he does actually care about her. At least at this point in the past, I think you could tell he kind of does have a as much as I think as he likes anybody or cares about anybody, besides like his mother and stuff like that.
Yes.
But yeah, I think he cared. I think he thought he was going to help her because she was going to get herself into trouble and then get into bigger trouble with the family. But that was enough to get her into pretty big trouble with her father and the family.
Right, because it was a tip-off to Carmine's going to end up in jail now for killing all these women and possibly his wife. So yeah, she needed to be out of the picture for the family to continue functioning. And then just watching her time, knowing what she went through in Arkham, and that whole time, it did not break her. She came out of it saying she wasn't broken.
I mean, I don't think she's broken, but certainly it...
damaged.
It bent. She may have not broke, but she certainly bent pretty far, I think.
Right, because she
especially when
seemed
she
at the
bashes
beginning
the other girls.
Of more of a wholesome type person. She may have known her dad was doing under-the-table bad things, but she didn't quite get the full extent. Then now, after it's all turned on her, she goes to Arkham. Now she's become a more violent person.
Well, yeah.
A person who's willing to do more bad things to make things work out for them.
Well, I mean...
the world turns against her. She turned against the world.
When you go through an experience like that, again, you're going to bend if you don't break. You're not coming out of that the other side the same as you went in. Because she did go in pretty naive and kind of innocent and kind of, I think my dad does some shady things, but...
And then she sees the full extent of his reach.
Yeah,
there's even
judges,
people
cops,
planted in there, Magpie.
Yeah.
She believes was planted by the doctors to report on her, to tell some of the stories that she might have confided into this Magpie to turn the psychological stuff against her.
Yeah, I think I think part of the reason why this episode was really good, and it was different, but I think part of the reason why it works so well is like what she's up against. Like she's kind of naive, she's very innocent. She thinks I'm going home in 6 months. This is a big misunderstanding, but the judges are paid, everything's paid off. Like she's done. She's done. And not just because we know, obviously, 10 years later she gets out and we see that part of the story already, but like her going in there like, oh goodness, like her father just completely set her up and paid everybody off. Like that's maybe the worst part about it. That realization, like, oh, my dad did this to me.
Yeah.
Because he's a murderer and everything I once thought about him was wrong. Or, I mean, she probably had, again, suspicions, but just to have that realization dawn on you in a place like that.
And her acting,
well, it's phenomenal.
She was phenomenal.
She's everybody's
the body language that she gives off when when her dad confronts her at his birthday party. Do you think I did it? Do you think do you ever suspect me? All of a sudden, her eyes are blinking faster. She doesn't want to look him in his eyes. She's either averting her gaze or closing her eyes longer. These are all the tells that a psychologist and stuff would tell you. The body language would tell you. She's uncomfortable.
She's very nervous,
she's possibly lying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, the body language that she was able to give off was great. And then you can just see how she's changed from that young, happy person to afterwards person who's capable of killing the entire family, the family that betrayed her.
Yeah, that was unexpected. I didn't know where they were going when she takes her niece or something like that along those lines. I don't remember what exactly she is. Not a niece,
I think it's like a niece.
Like a cousin's...
something.
Whatever that would be. I'm sorry. But when she takes her out to the garden and stuff, I'm like, what is she doing here? Like, she's not going to kill her or something weird? Does she just want to worry them that, she's going to wake up and see their daughter's gone and like, see, I can get to you? But it's like, why? And then you realize, no, she's saving her life and killing almost everybody else.
What's interesting is the fact that the family knew she was set up. They knew. They wrote those letters about her insanity. Yeah. They knew. But when she got out of Arkham is when they were scared of her.
Well, yeah, because...
She comes in there commanding.
Because they know she betrayed them. Or they betrayed her, I should say.
At the same time, they're the Falcons. And they're scared of her. She comes into that feast, that banquet. She sits down. She's allowed to interrupt, tell them all to be quiet, and listen to her. Not a single person interrupts her. The hired hitman out in the hallway, whatever, the thugs, they don't come and drag her away.
No.
They are afraid of her because of what they did to her.
Yeah, wouldn't you be? I mean, if you did something like that where you wrote a letter that got somebody put into a place like Arkham for 10 years, like, holy cow, of course you're going to be wondering what they could do, especially after that experience. How much has that changed? Because you can tell the experience obviously left an impact on her.
What's interesting is what this means for the story going forward. She's clearly taking over the Falcons right now. Hostile takeover.
Yeah, exactly.
Oz is not in a good place with the Maronis.
He's in a good place with that. That's why I was very confused.
He's in a bad place with everybody.
Yeah,
what does he do now?
Yeah, because at the start of the episode, we see the end of the previous episode from her perspective, and she learns pretty much everything that Penguin's kind of been playing
killed her brother.
That too, which is a big component.
She's not happy with Oz.
No, so Oz has nobody right now.
No family. None of the two crime families are with him.
No, he's on his own right now. So it's with, 4 episodes to go, I think?
Yeah, I think that was our halfway point-ish,
I think this was, yeah. I mean, I'm very curious where this goes in the next 4 episodes, because it feels like we're already at a point where an end game, right? Because how do you keep this going? What is he going to do? What kind of tap dance is he going to play at this point?
I think Sophia is going to have him on the run now.
Well,
I think he needs to hide his mother. The girls from the Iceberg Lounge, those call girls that he's friends with, they all need to get out of there. Anyone with a positive association with Penguin is a target on their back now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oz has doomed them all.
Yeah, I mean,
He thought that he was too smart, and he thought he could control everything, and I don't think he can.
Yeah, you knew at some point this was going to come back against his mother, and she was going to be threatened by something. I mean, you don't introduce that character without knowing at some point.
He's got her kind of tucked away and hidden.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean enough.
No.
Not to Sophia.
And we still got Victor, too. Victor still, he just bailed him out, essentially. So he's not going to be anybody's favorite on the Maroney family.
No, not in the Maroney family, not in the Falcone family.
Falcone family
There's no families that like him.
Because you got to figure Sophia's going to realize maybe Victor knew about what happened to my brother.
And she doesn't care.
No, she'll kill him in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
But anyway, on that note, I think that is going to be all we got for you this time. I feel like we could talk about
Forever.
Because we'll hit stop and we'll keep talking about it. Mm-hmm. But I feel like that's all we got for you this time. Now it's your turn. Take to the comments below. Tell us what you thought of this episode of The Penguin. And let's talk some Penguin.
Penguin.
And until next time, thanks for watching.